Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun, so what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on... Yes, ethical explosives. Hell yeah, Moth Pussy Head America. God bless America, as well as Russian Doomer music in the background. Yeah, hi, I work on games. Today we're going to be going over 3 games that have been added to the list, actually. And those 3 games are, if we go up here... it is, let me get the exact names to make sure it's consistent. Because I gotta get the exact names correct, because people get mad if I don't. So, we have Sanguine Knights and Terrible Curses, which will have a little bit of an explanation there, because we have Soul Survivor, a postmodern TTRPG, as well as Void Hunters. Yes, unfortunately, the Yick RPG did win. For all the unfortunate realities that occurred, the Yick RPG did win. Also, occasionally in the background, you may hear louder popping noises than usual, which, by the way, fun fact, there is a plan in place to get rid of that. There is actually a plan to get rid of the shaking a little bit. For context, my current setup does have my mic arm attached to my table, so I need to get that not attached, and I know what I need to do. I just need to get an end table. I know where to get them, I know how to get them, they're just annoying, and I haven't been to Walmart in forever. So, yeah, that's the plan. Well, today, well, generally speaking, let me readjust this. The plan is to kind of get things set up for these 3. The kind of like, this is kind of like the, you can kind of say the preliminary stream. I like to do these just to kind of give people an idea of what the plan is for all of them, and in case there's any ideas that really need. I'm excited for you to yick all over us. Thank you very much, Ethical. I do plan to literally yick over everybody, and everybody has to deal with my bullshit. Great. There will be no survivors. I hope you all know that. There will be none. No one gets to have fun anymore. So generally speaking, these are the 3, and we're going to start with technically the first one. Which is Sanguine Knights and Terrible Curses. Which, interestingly enough with this game, this one's been in the back of my head for a very long time, and originally it's been, how do I want to word it? It's gone through a few different variations of what it actually was, but the basic concept usually was World of Darkness, but boring. Which originally I didn't do much with, and it has been on the list forever, because a good friend of mine named The Varick, he did a game called Boring Darkness, which was the exact same idea, just different. However, recently a patron actually contacted me being like, I'm interested in this game, please tell me more. Which kind of got some more ideas of how I wanted to handle this. So yeah, that's why that exists. So the entire idea behind Sanguine Knights and Terrible Curses is, as you can tell by the title, it's about vampires. Most notably, it's vampires post-masquerade violations. So what does that actually mean? The entire idea behind Sanguine Knights is that, we'll do Sanguine Knights, is that technically the masquerade has been broken. Vampires have existed among us forever. Oh no, this is such an interesting and wild revelation. But unfortunately, what I was thinking of to make it as boring as possible, it was a Berlin nightclub in 1983. A vampire was found and arrested because he got into a fight. That's literally the entire story of how things got bad, is because someone got into a drunk ass fight and he got arrested. Which led to, hey, the masquerade has been officially broken. Vampires are real. And they have all the ancient bullshit powers we know them for, which I'm going to have to write a bunch of them to make it legally distinct World of Darkness. However, the catch being is that instead of like, oh no, it's the international witch hunts or anything, the joke would be, how did I hemio you know what, we're actually Patreon. We're going to Patreon. I said we're going to Patreon because I actually did a full write-up of everything on these ones in particular. Not many people actually voted in these ones, unfortunately, yes. As you can see right here, hemo-dependent persons. Yeah, everyone got bored. Again, that's the joke. They're hemo-dependent persons. And they integrated into society. It's been about 30 years since they've kind of became part of society. And, you know, the basic idea is society molds to its new reality. Which that's the joke, being that, hey, you know, all these ancient, awesome, cool vampires that we all know and love got really boring because turns out being just a hemo-dependent person means you're just an asshole who needs to drink blood. That's literally all it is. That's the comedic aspect. Vampiritis. And this is like the entire concept of like, you may be wondering, where the fuck does the game come in? Because it seems kind of boring. It's that technically you're going to be part of, what did I end up calling the society? Where did I end up calling it? Do I not have it written down here? I feel very silly. Midnight Mara, so pretty much I had it as the entire idea being like being pretty much your, you know, vampire glowies, which in the nicest way possible, you're the alphabet agency tasked with making sure that hemo-dependent persons are comfortable. You have to deal with the fact of like, here's this entirely new society that's existed for a very long time, trying to kind of integrate with modern society and maybe not doing the best. So that was kind of the idea, which the thing there would be, it would be human handlers, plus kind of like vampire muscle in a way, which kind of a little bit inspired by, what's that, it's a fucking manga. I can see it in my head. I can't remember the name of it. Demon Mom, I think. I can't remember the full name. There's literally an entire thing in that manga about a vampiritis. Yeah, there is a squad of these demons, is what they're referred to as, but they kind of come in all shapes and sizes. And one of the issues is that, like, yeah, here's this human chief that they constantly have to work with, but they kind of, everything's kind of dull in its way. It's effectively a police procedural with the fact that they just are these horrifically powerful entities. Except it's also, I just want my 9 to 5. That's kind of the thing with it. Is you have these human handlers as well as the vampire muscle. You're going to be primarily playing these guys. That's kind of the concept, is you are playing the muscle of this organization tasked with making sure that people are happy. That people, you know, that these more ancient vampire cults, these more people who want to violate the rules get swacked. And you're the hammer, kind of the hammer of the law to make sure that they keep their shit going. As you can tell, I'm a little bit tired right now. I ate a lot. I had a big dinner tonight, and oh my god, Miro, why aren't you working for me? Come on, darling. Come on, Miro. I say this one's kind of odd because Why do you... What this go? I say this one's kind of odd. You know, for one very distinct reason is that... Actually, no, the Dark Knights and Terrible Monsters. This was actually the original name of this entire series, was Dark Knights and Terrible Monsters. With everything, with the kind of the idea that would be everything the masquerade has been shattered for everything, and you now have to deal with an incredibly boring society and the result of it. It's regular people, it's alphabet societies, it's generally speaking the equivalent of that one British TV, Being Human, I think it's the equivalent of this show. If you've ever seen this show, it's like this. It's pretty much a vampire, werewolf, and a ghost live in a flat together. This is a legitimate TV show. I remember watching the American version. It was the US version. I watched the US version and thought it was actually very good. Never watched the UK version, even though people say that's infinitely fucking better, even though it's the exact same idea. Yeah, I think this is the kind of the vibe I'm going for. It's like very, very chillaxed in a way, not really too exciting either. Very episodic was I was aiming for. Is this just Wicked City the game? Let's see. What's Wicked City? Let's see. Never heard of this before, actually. I can honestly say I have never heard of Wicked City. I will. Why does this look? Okay, this is not helping your case here, Salt. This is oof. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. Ooh. It's a big no-no. I'll have to see if I can't find this. Never heard of this before, actually. Most likely it's... Wait a second. Wait a moment. Why does this look familiar? Have I seen this before? You know it's popular when there's the live-action version. That's how you can always tell something's good, when you get the live-action Japanese version of it. Yeah, this is one of the vibes I'm going for. Again, very dull in its own way, but funny. Society of hemodependency affected demi-mortals and nightwalkers. Yeah, pretty much. And what I was kind of going for was far more episodic in nature, rather not really like a full campaign system. It's not like here's like this long-running story. It's more along the lines of you're dropped in a place, told to do something. How do you do it? Very much more episodic, much more self-contained. The goal here would actually, ironically, be to have a lot more, and yes, this is kind of partially because I going over the Japanese games, a lot more Japanese influence, but more along the lines of that being, it's a lot of the characters should be a lot of the characters should feel front-loaded. When you have everything you need right in front of you, everything's very guided in a way, and you are in and out. If you want to play a one-session game, you can play a one-session game of playing vampire glowies on a one-way track. If you don't want to play that, you don't have to. Now, there's a couple ideas what I was thinking about how to do this in particular, and that's where things get a little bit wonky, and that's where obviously we can experiment a little bit more. People have talked about D12 games, which there aren't actually many D12 games, like D12 focus games. D12 based role-playing games. The One Ring, Thousand Sun Colonial Gothic. Didn't I try to make a D12 game and it just failed miserably? Yeah, that was Chung Sha. Hmm. Huh. Yeah, D12 is weird. And it's kind of hard to even summarize the idea of Demon Realm world. Yeah, okay. I'll see if I can't find it somewhere. But yeah, one of the core ideas behind this is the Dark Knights and Terrible Monsters kind of moniker is I want to use this as kind of like a core system. You can kind of say like a kind of a core system for future games. One of which, if we go to the things Notepad add-on wants to do, I wouldn't call it necessarily like an SRD, but more along the lines of like write this: Ravenous Knights and Infectious Curses, werewolves and their human handler. Literally inspired by a 4-page fucking one-shot I found on MangaDex, but so it's kind of like keep using that same moniker for everything. Make my own world, my own budget World of Darkness line with this world of, hey, this mystical weird world, and our world, past the masquerade. The masquerade's been broken, and they've kind of merged together in a way. And now everyone's just it's 40 years later. It's the 2020s. And it's like, you go down to the mini mart in the middle of the night, you just see a vampire there. He's like, hey, how can I help you? You're like, hey, can I buy a slushie? It's like just very surreal in its own way. That would be kind of the way I'd want to make it go, is an incredibly surreal world of just punctuated supernatural elements with just mundane realities. Like, yes, the vampire is trying to make his rent, and no, he is not doing it. Thus, he is literally trying to sell his own, he's trying to sell his vampirism to people so he can pay his rent. It's shit like that. It's like, it's stupid motherfucker, what the fuck are you on about? Like, you are not going to sell vampirism to people. Damn it, I was watching the White Power VOD. Oh, Jesus. It's on Tubi. It's on Tubi. Yeah, the old school anime, I'm talking Berserk levels. You mean the 90? Well, it's 87, so I assume that it's not exactly came out last year. But yeah, this is kind of the core idea of it. Like, this is going to be the lore. Lore isn't too complicated, nor did I want it to be very complicated. Gameplay-wise, this is where things are going to get a little bit odd. Now, what I was thinking about doing is, because again, we're drawing a little bit more influence from JTRPGs, which was keep the system pretty tightly designed in that way. I was debating on like a dice pool system. Dice pool would be the like absolute easiest to do. Other half of me want to do like an RORE version, which is just a one roll engine, where you can have interpret a lot of results from a single roll. If I felt like being a real gamer, and I do mean a real OG, what we could do is probably backhack a fear game. Because if we really look at what we're working with in the... If I really wanted to... Now this is a lot of little finagling, by the way. Is that we could use, again, I could probably backhack things like fear, like double cross here, and kind of make it do what I want it to do. It would be a little bit bonker, a little bit weird, but like keep this basic idea, because what we need to do is make the system adaptable for many different ideas. Keep the same idea, keep the same concept, just backhack it. Alternatively, half of me does just want to make something completely new and work from there that has its own advantages. But generally thinking, I'm looking at medium crunch for this particular game. Just enough to make sure you got a lot of options. Because again, we're dealing with front-loaded character design. And we're also kind of going to be working with the... how do we want to do it? People are blowing shit up outside, by the way. They are just blowing shit up. As well as, you know, kind of the, how do I want to do it? Well, the terrible, you know, the terrible curse. Because I want all the... To give you an idea, there are fireworks going off as a helicopter is passing over. So yeah, this is a fucking mess. Yeah, pretty much what I want all these guys to do is have to suffer from, you know, the kind of the idea of the terrible curse. It's like something is going wrong that they need to kind of keep themselves in line for, which most people, because of this situation over here, are able to. But they, since they are a very specific kind of situation, they're more encouraged to be like, keep pushing yourself, go further and further beyond, but always try to draw yourself back. We get 10 viewers, no. Are we all staying in to avoid the explosions? Probably. Also, if you don't give humans... Also, if you don't give humans a gun where they have to put their back to the wall in fear of being knocked over, let alone when they do, they get pushed into the wall. Maybe. But yeah, that's just kind of the concept here. Very, very direct. I'm going to have to reference some more Japanese RPGs. I have a few ideas. See, here's the best part about where I live in particular is like, is that a firework or is that a gunshot? Like... if you hear a loud cracking noise, I'm probably already ducked behind cover as someone fucking died in my window. God, I love where I live. It's great. It's the best. But yeah, this is kind of the core idea. Because we need to make this... Not you. But we need to make all of this... technically apply to other games, because I want to be able to, once we get this particular one going, make it almost like the D2000 system. We've got it set up. I can now apply it to Ravenous Nuts. I can now apply it to Ghastly Nuts. I can now apply it to other games within the same universe very simply, but I can change some core aspects of it. So actually, that reminds me, what we're going to need to do is make, I'm going to have to write in the term modular design. I'm saying modular design being like, here's a core idea, but I can like slot things in and slot things out a little bit easier. So there might feel like there's some dangling mechanics here, but that's half the fun, right? Right. Because that's what I'm going to tell myself. Now, it would be... Actually, it'd be this Wednesday. We're going to go over this a little bit deeper, because that's the preliminary effect. Actually, that's kind of the preliminary stream is going to be on Wednesday. This Friday, most likely, it's going to be more Pocket Quest Grind Quest. We're probably going to do 2 days worth of Pocket Quest Grind Quest, because I can, and I don't like starting projects on Fridays. You hear that? That was out my window. Oh, that's out my window. It's great. Half monster creatures. Don't know yet. Again, the lore is masquerade violation, question mark. It just works. I might use kind of like my own... a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I wonder if I still have the notes for it. This is a big if. Let's see. Do I have? Let's see. We have the old Omega Men. We have the Tokyo Ghoul game. Yes, I wrote a Tokyo Ghoul game. Okay. My friend said I couldn't. Would it be Extender 1? What's Didif? No, this is the Darling in the Franxx game. I can explain, okay? I can explain. Is it here? No. Don't question about that. No. Is it in here? Forks of HV Omewa Shindaru version. Jesus Christmas Christ. This is, if you're looking at some older games, it's right here. Baselines, Dark Knights and Terrible Monsters. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus, this is 2017. Let's see. Bleeding Hearts and Minds and Bodies, Silver Bullets and Wooden Stakes, Banquet of Depravity, Men Under the Mask. Let's see. Did I actually write up the vampire thing? Let's see. Did I write up the Dark Knights and Terrible Monsters? Yeah, here's the fucking Tokyo Ghoul version of it. Why the fuck am I... Yeah, Tokyo Ghoul, why the fuck am I doing this .txt? Yeah, somewhere along here I have it. What the fuck is this? Oh, there's... Yeah, if you ever want to know, like, this is old Notepad. Real old Notepad stuff. Which none of this is organized at all, by the way. Absolutely nothing is organized here. How deep some of the folders go. This is like, yeah, this is how deep the folder is currently. Yeah, okay. We're not going to think about this. We are going to go back here and not think about what we just saw. Okay? Okay. We're good. We're Gucci. And your server call me lewd. Yeah, I wrote Darling in the Franks one. That was pop. God, when did This is one of those strings, so I can actually do this. Darling in the Franks. When did this come out? Darling came out in 2018. God, it came out in 2018. It's been almost 5 years since fucking Darling in the Franks came out. Ugh. That's funny. That's real funny. And people still make shit for this show, by the way. People still make shit. Yeah. Anyone remember Darling in the Franks? Throwback classical anime. That time where it became Evangelion. I just got a threat secured from Nova Scotia News. Ah, good times. Stuff from when Notepad actually wrote in Notepad. Yes, when I wrote literally everything in Notepad. And then just saved it different places, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so this is kind of the basic idea here, which does bring me on to, if we go here, Soul Survivor, a postmodern TTRPG. Okay, this is where things get really funky. So, as you can tell by the name, this is the Yik the RPG, and I already kind of did a video on this, which a lot of that actually is going to. How do I want to? A lot of that is going to remain the same. Yeah, let me see if I can actually. You can see it's a little bit more chaotic today because, generally speaking, this is how always these go. Do I even have the Yik script anymore? I don't. I think I got rid of it. Oh yeah, I get to post. Oh yeah, I forgot. I get to post this tomorrow. Okay, no, we don't got to worry about that though. Yeah, I don't have my Yik script anymore, unfortunately. I need to get rid of some of these, actually. But generally speaking, the entire idea behind Yik the RPG would in fact be a budget Persona RPG. But it would also become a budget Twin Peaks RPG. Specifically, Fire Walk With Me. Which, if you know Twin Peaks at all, you know what I'm talking about here. It's an investigative RPG at the end of the day. It's an investigative show anyway, but Fire Walk With Me was the prequel movie to it, which made things, and I do quote this nicely, fucking weird. Because everyone kind of associates Twin Peaks nowadays with it being just immediately weird. Please make irony and pretentiousness the stat you have to manage. Increasing them too much is a fail state. Actually, with that, I had an idea for that. But yeah, this is like what we're going to call the foundations, which is, at its core, this game is an investigation role-playing game. That's at its core what this game actually is. It's an investigative game. It's a game where you go on and you need to investigate something happening with soul space. Which, if you want in-depth Yick lore, I'm going to give my best summary of Yick lore. Pretty much, there's a place called Soul Space. Soul Space is which is kind of the, like, how do I want to... The way it is explained is really bad, but you can think of Soul Space as the cosmic goop between realities. And pretty much when you are dreaming, when you are kind of out-of-body experiences, you actually enter soul space. And inside soul space, that is where you have people such as soul survivors. Not soul as in one, soul as in your little embodiment of your soul. The entire plot of Yick is based around the fact that soul space is currently undergoing what we'd like to call a cluster fuck-up. Because of a variety of factors, which you probably already know, it's Alex. However, the basic concept is there's a cosmic goop between realities, and there's multiple realities undergoing at the same time. However, you from another reality, if can actually go somewhere else, or from a person from a destroyed reality, ends up becoming a soul survivor. If they're still around. Pretty much, if you're having an out-of-body experience and your reality ceases to exist, you simply become a soul survivor if you get stuck in soul space. Because soul space is the cosmic goop between realities. The entire concept of this game would be, something is going on, we need to fix it. It's an investigation role-playing game. However, this is where things get wonkier. Because it's not just an investigation role-playing game. If it was, this wouldn't be postmodern. That would make sense. It is also a traditional dungeon crawling RPG. But also an investigation RPG. This is where things start getting a little bit weird and postmodern. It is all of these things technically at once, which brings me to kind of what the the gameplay itself would look like, which is you are obviously going to be playing a character. We'll just call that the character. Well, actually, we'll just call it the character. That character is, by all accounts, a regular person. And because they are a regular person, they are fundamentally not very interesting. However, they're also going to have a class, which is going to define a lot more about them than normal. And mind you, the classes aren't going to be like fighter, rogue, mage. It's going to be something like the hero. This is like one idea that I have in mind, which is, let's say for example, Bob Smith. Bob Smith is our protagonist. He's going to have the class the hero. He acts first, he does things first. He's the first one in, and his entire personality is kind of that of, he is the protagonist. They have given him, reality has kind of given him, Soul Space has given him the idea of being the hero. Because your class is, let me do this real fast if you want to get really, this is getting really pretentious, by the way, so bear with me. This is in Soul Space. However, we also have in reality. And then we do this. If I can select the right fucking one, because you never want to select the right one. So this is kind of one of the concepts I want to play with right here. Oh, trust me, it gets a lot worse. It gets a lot worse, Drew. Let me finish. Because one of the concepts is that you are playing, you are playing the character, and this is a fairly traditional, person. But you're also going to have your stats, but you're also defined by who you are, your class in a way. Because I even said it in the video, being like, this is going to be an unholy abomination of many different things. Because it's postmodern. Now, that class isn't necessarily going to be like a personality, not going to be like an assigned personality in a way. It's kind of, it's a little bit gooier than that. It's both what we would traditionally assign to be like a class archetype, but also kind of like a poor person, because you end up with things such as, let me do Yick, Rory. So, yeah, Rory kills himself. Thanks, Rory. How can we forget? Everybody kisses Rory. Let me see. There we go. Right here. Because at the very end of Yick, if you choose to be the right, if you choose a variety of correct options, you can get these various characters, which you already have had, but these are just them from various alternate realities. Rory is clearly a defender, Claudio is an attacker, Chandra is supposed to be like this weird support person, what's his name? Michael is more like supporty, Vela is straight up like support, straight up like damage dealer, and there's another one in there, I can't remember, no, that's in 1.5. You can see that I've been studying up on my Yixona lore a little bit, and also we're not dealing with this bullshit. Like these are the characters we have to deal with. There's a fucking panda involved. This is the shit I'm working with. It's agony, if you want me to be precise. But yeah, it's kind of a combination of it. The best way to unfortunately summarize it is a quirky Earthbound inspired TTRPG. It's a little bit funky. I have a few ideas of how to handle it. However, the big aspect is the Alex, which is going to be the GM, and with kind of this, it's going to be kind of more of a mention throughout the book, is that you, the player, are the character. It's a little bit, it's going to be a heavy on the GM, I'm going to say that it's going to be a really weird GM heavy game, because you're going to be playing a character who is in by themselves in this kind of sphere a little bit. I have a few again, it's up here. Police are going by. It's like, I have it up in my head. I understand how it's going to work, because I also want things like, if we put this right up here, like relationships are important, relationship mechanics, but more along the lines of like your social links, because that's important. It's things such as, kind of more, there's a lot of little things with this game, but the core idea is you as the game master. My music ended, I gotta turn it back on. No, it isn't. Good. You as the game master are playing Alex. You are the Alex. You're the one controlling the universe for all the unfortunate realities that involves. You cause everything to go wrong. The players, who are fundamentally understanding themselves a little bit more, because think about it, anytime you play a role-playing game, you don't have everything the character is right away. Yeah, characters mold over time, you kind of learn how to do it, even down to the fact that you might start doing a voice, but it might change a little bit. You develop your own personality. It's because one of the weird things about Yick to me always was Alex doesn't know anybody, even though he should know everyone. He's back at his hometown. He should know everybody, but he doesn't. But the thing is, they kind of explain that being that Alex is a fucking loner. He's this weird, dramatic person who doesn't know anybody except Michael, but Michael's predetermined goal in the universe is to be your childhood friend. Which is where things get weird. This is where a lot of the meta elements are going to come in. Because yes, this is going to be a weird meta game as well on top of everything else. Even down to the fact that, like, players are going to get experience points, not... Like, again, players are going to get experience points, not necessarily their characters. Did you group together? Yeah, that was weird. So, yeah, it's a... I don't know. I have no idea if this is going to work. I'm going to have to review my own... I'm going to review my own video on it just to make sure everything does kind of add up to what I'm thinking. If I want to be really precise about things, most likely this is going to end up as a D20 RPG. Because if I want the accurate Yick experience, it has to do absolutely nothing similar. It has to do everything very similar, but just slightly worse. Hence why it's going to be probably a D20 RPG, but don't worry, it's postmodern. I can do whatever the fuck I feel like with it. Because I hate you. Remember that. Because I loathe you, you're on this wild ride with me. Oh, gee. Oh, yeah, we're just gonna keep it like that. Yeah, so this is kind of the concepts behind it. I have a few ideas, because fun fact, there isn't actually a... The only Persona TTRPG out there is actually shit like this, which either is a little bit too direct. When did this come out? When did the Persona RPG come here? Extensive PBTA rule set. Yep, that's fucking agony. Let's see. We have Grimoire of the Heart. The official Twitter of the biggest RPG system based on the SMT franchise. Oh, there's some Shin Megami Tensei. Yeah, there's some SMT fans currently having a stroke. Honestly, didn't know this existed. Did not know this existed. Honestly, I thought, you know what, everybody, let's go on a magic adventure. Honestly, going to be perfectly honest with you guys here, thought I was going to just come across a Velvet book. A Velvet book by the Velvet book TTRPG is one of the most extensive ones that I know about. And Velvet Book is very extensive, very, very nice. I believe it's using monsters and other childish things. Yeah, right there, monsters and other childish things. Yeah, okay. This is what the. Let's do honestly, didn't know what I was getting myself into. Oh boy. Oh. Okay. Zhao for his insurmountable support. Oh god, it's dealing with South America. It's the South American RPGs. Oh. It feels like this game needs weird, poorly thought out LARP rules. Something like that. It's like, it's a D20 game, and you can clearly understand it's a D20 game, but it also, you know, isn't. But the big thing, here's the big thing, is that I still need to make the game actually fun. Which by itself is its own thing. So, Yick isn't fun. Yick is painful. Yep, this is exactly what I think it is. Yes, this is the South American role playing. This is the South American Persona game. Oh yeah, this is the South American Persona game. Hey, look, it's Aegis from all those various that one game, the FES after story. Was that what it was called? Where everything goes wrong and everyone is on fire. What? All right, you know what? Didn't know what I was expecting, but here we are. Is this like an entire system? Yes, okay. So this is literally an entire system about emulating Persona almost one-to-one and the mechanics behind it. Holy shit, this is autism. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Huh. Huh. Yeah, we're gonna go over you one day. It looks like something from TG. Nah, this is... The South Americans usually produce something completely out of nowhere. You gotta remember that. Because South Americans are autistic. I love them all to death, though. Every South American I've encountered has been hilariously autistic in their own way. But yes, this is the kind of the basic idea behind Soul Survivor. I'm gonna review my video on it a little bit, see if I can't like kind of formalize my ideas a bit. But the concepts are still present. Very to the point is, at the end of the day, it's going to be this: a budget Persona game, a budget Twin Peaks RPG, but also an investigative dungeon crawler. With the basic loop be, you know, with the, if we kind of go over here, the basic loop is there is a problem, discover the problem, enter soul space to fix the problem. To fix the problem, learn more about the plot. That's kind of the basic summary of things. There is a problem. We have to discover the problem. We enter soul space to fix it. We learn more about what kind of the overarching story is. For all the unnecessary issues, the overarching story you could, you know, argue in the main game is what happened to Sammy. That is the overarching plot, and every single thing you do is in service to what happened to Sammy. How do I save Sammy? How do I get here? How do I do this? How do I result in this issue? Everything else is kind of building around that to one way or another. And that's going to be kind of one of the big things as to what's the inciting incident and why is everyone getting involved. Yeah, thinking about a D20 RPG, but it still has to be, again, it has to be fun to play. But not committed to the D20, though. Not committed at all. This does bring us to our final game, which is Void Haunters. And Void Haunters actually has a very specific goal in mind. And this is the Notepad test space building games. If you want something even more precise, it's the Space Pirate RPG. Because I wanted to do that. Most notably, I wanted to do this when it comes to shipbuilding. Or, you know, shipbuilding and plus commandering, I guess would be a correct word. commanding spaceships in general. Now, I say these are in particular because I want Void Haunter ships to be small crew plus, yeah, they're relatively small crew based, which is more of like you have a vehicle, like this is a dedicated, like actually I should say relatively small crew. Actually, no, you know what? No, let's, different perspective. Pretty much like one of the big ideas is like I want ships to feel important, and I want you as the person to have multiple roles aboard the ship. Like you aren't, I want the idea being like you're not necessarily playing a single character, you're playing multiple characters aboard the same ship doing different things. However, those ships that you are in kind of control of, you're space pirates. But you're boring, but you're not the unfun kind of space piracy where it's like, well, we need to bait people out to do things. We need to it's more of traditional piracy. And kind of the issues of, hey, we're landing aboard your ship to steal your stuff or take your cargo because we're bastards. The infinite autism of Rogue Trader gives me hope that better system for spaceships is possible. Let me see. Let's do spaceship TTRPG. Traveler, Stars Without Number, Stars Without Number, BattleTech, Stars Without Number, Stars Without Number, Star Frontiers game, Traveler, Fragged Empire, Elite Dangerous RPG, which we still need to go over one day, Mothership. There's a handful of RPGs, but usually those are fairly traditional RPGs, and unfortunately, Homeworld RPG. The Homeworld RPG was not what I wanted in this particular thing, and it became a lot more, a little bit too, how do I want to say this, too personal in a way. So you can argue that my inadvertent goal with Void Haunters is to become the pseudo Homeworld RPG. Which, with the space piracy, it's a lot more about, how do I want to word this? Like, yeah, you are pirates. You're pirates of the void, effectively. You are people who go out there with the intent of raiding, pillaging, and doing all these horrible, horrible things, with the idea being like, piracy is rampant. Piracy is rampant, and it's effectively the goal. It's effectively the the dying days of it. You're at the tail end of the era of space piracy, which I have an idea for how I want to do the lore a little bit. It's going to be directly inspired by The Expanse, if you can't really get that gist. But pretty much it's like, yeah, space piracy was a big thing for a while. However, people are finally kind of getting back on their feet, and it's not being as viable anymore. You're kind of the last generation almost of the space pirates, but this is the way you've lived. This is the way that you're going to live. And my pseudo Homeworld RPG, there is a very strong temptation of giving every player a ship, with the kind of the idea being, if we kind of use this idea, kind of like have the scale being like fleet, ship, fleet, ship, how do I want to do this? I guess like role person. That being kind of the, as it goes down, so you could be like, oh, we're aboard the, we're part of the, the third, we'll say the third fleet. We're aboard a destroyer. The destroyer Ishimura. We are the landing team, and I'm playing Hans Gube. So if we're saying, like, if something's going on the Ishimura, we can all play at the Ishimura level. If we're playing at the landing team, someone can play one of the landing team people. If we're playing the landing team, we can play Hans. I think the scales here are going to get a little bit weird. I might rework this a little bit more to make it more like a little bit grander in scope. Don't really know. Rogue Trader a few years ago, I was hoping to have the first round of ship combat done by New Year's. Yeah. Rogue Trader, here's the thing. I like Rogue Trader. Don't get me wrong. Rogue Trader, though, is very detailed. And also, for those who don't know what Rogue Trader is, for the people living under a rock, Rogue Trader 40K, this is Rogue Trader. Rogue Trader is, in 40K terms, a guy who's been given the right to pilot a giant cathedral-sized battleship and pilot it directly to wherever the fuck he wants to go. You have pretty much a writ from the Empire saying, fuck you, I have money. Which is pretty cool. That's very neat. It's cool to be very powerful. And what we did do a campaign on, it didn't last terribly long. Issues popped up, but it was kind of the idea of, like, yeah, you have a lot more power than I think the 40K games were really built for. That's why I'm, like, kind of excited for this, kind of not excited at the same time, because it looks like it's going in a really weird direction. I cannot put my finger on why I feel like it's going in a weird direction. I just feel like it is. I can only hope. That's the idea. I can only hope that things look, I don't know. Maybe if we get some more gameplay, I'd feel a little bit more confident about it, but I really don't know. That's one of the problem. There's no one to play with. Many such cases. Many such cases, Solid. Don't we worry. Wait, if that was you? Oh, God. I have legit no fucking clue. Rogue Trader, I will say this, and arguably if Void Haunters goes well, it will eventually become a Rogue Trader RPG. I'll use it just as a basis for it. But honestly, that, give me 1 second. Let me put that. Because, like, one of the big things with Rogue Trader that was very fascinating, and you know what I'll do? I'll do that. Bring you down here just so it's easier to explain it. Rogue Trader is fascinating because the scale is so much fucking larger than you would really think about. Like, you are piloting a battleship, more accurately an Imperium battleship. Mind you, even a smaller one of these things. Now, what is this? Now, an Imperium battleship, to give you the idea of scale we're working with. Let me do. This is an Imperial battleship. Like, this is an Imperial ship. This thing is massive. And see all those. I'll bring it in here, just to make things easier to see. Do you see all these little holes here? Those are macro batteries. Macro batteries require at least a crew of about 20 people to fire. Your ship is massive. You can fit battalions of infantry, of not even excluding crew. That is a cathedral on top of your ship. Like, those are gigantic statues, massive ships. And these things are being a rogue trader means you have sole control over it. Like, you have a lot of authority over it. One of the other big things about rogue trader, which is very fascinating, is that rogue traders are allowed to intermingle with Xenos. You pretty much have the full right to do whatever the fuck you want. So you had all of the Xeno rules as well in rogue trader. One of the other weird things about rogue trader is that you are quite powerful in comparison. In the FFG games, roughly speaking, power level wise, I would say it was Dark Heresy, Only War. Then I would say, actually, they would be at the bottom. Roughly speaking, Dark Heresy and Only War were about the same power level wise. I think in Dark Heresy you scaled better. Then it would be, if I'm remembering at the top of my head, then I would argue it'd be Black Crusade, but Black Crusade goes all over the fucking place because Black Crusade can't have nice things. Then it would be Rogue Trader. Then it would be the fucking Death Watch. This is the rough, like, power scaling of all the games. Like, Rogue Trader, you are powerful. Like, you are way stronger than normal. And the game really wants to emphasize that constantly. Like, Rogue Trader needs its own dedicated system to work properly. That's one of the big things. You need a dedicated system to make it work. And if you know, the idea behind Void Haunters is kind of a little bit more claustrophobic, a little bit more grim, a little bit more, I guess the best way to kind of say it would be hard sci-fi. It's hard sci-fi with a bit of wonky bullshit. That being the idea. We're not dealing with like fucking rock hard sci-fi like some people want nowadays for some reason. I don't know why anybody would want it, but it's very hard sci-fi. You know, very mud and a little bit of, you know, it's mud and grime. Let's just say that it's gonna be a little bit of mud and grime. But that's fine. We like that. And I want to emphasize the pirate aspect. As kind of like, yes, this is probably the only valid piece of employment you have. And because you're a fucking loser. And nobody wants you. That's one thing I kind of want to get. Not necessarily space Somalia. You know, that's kind of a little bit on the nose. But more along the lines of like, you're not really accepted anywhere else. You're kind of this weird, you're a weird people doing this because this is all you know. But the main aspect of Void Haunters is going to be the shipbuilding and controlling ships. I've been meaning to want to do more vehicle RPGs, but like vehicle, yeah, we'll do vehicle-based RPGs. Let's do. Tell me more. Atomic Highway, Car Wars, Auto Duel GURPS, Crash Panda Traveler, Firefly, Road Warriors. Don't know if it's good. Oh my god, fucking Lancer. This is immediately. I hate Lancer people. I hate Lancer people so much. Announcement: no Zach S content. Yeah. But yeah, vehicle-based RPGs are not actually that common, which is kind of weird. Honestly, what I may do is be the fact that you are like a small fleet, like you're just a bunch of little tiny little shitties. You have actually, I don't want to. If we. Let's see. Each player is the captain of their own ship. Okay, this could work actually. So each player is the captain of their own ship. But has a character aboard other players' ships. So it's a little bit of the what's that game? I can see it in my head. Better Angels. That's it. Better Angels. I like citing Better Angels all the time. I can never remember the name because it's a really awkward name. But yeah, it's kind of like Better Angels in that regard. Because if we're going with that idea, like Homeworld, yeah, pretty much. Because if we go under this idea, because what would happen there is, let's say that player A might be player A has we'll say the destroyer Ishimura. Player B has the destroyer Hokkaido. I listened to an alternate history hub video today, so all this we'll say destroyer Ito. Let's say three. We'll say actually we'll give one more player. We'll do the destroyer. Actually, fuck it. We'll go bigger. This is we'll say a skipper. He's a nice, really quick little ship. Skipper. What's a good? The skipper Tokugawa. However, player A is a chief mechanic aboard player B. He is chief of security. He's chief security for player C, and he is engineer. He's playing engineer man for player D. But player B is his own set of rules for every player. So it's kind of like you always have influence on different parts of the ships. So it's like everybody has a stake aboard everybody else. You're not like encouraged just to say fuck it. But in addition, you're also kind of, you have it in front of you what your other characters are doing as well as what your captain is doing. So you're all kind of trying to work together, but you're also trying to kind of like compete with one another. With the idea of being like, there is a distinct idea of like, you have loyalty to the captain. Captain is this person. That could work. So everybody kind of has everyone's kind of invested in one another. This could actually work pretty well. Ships are going to probably be ships are going to have to be small though. Like Homeworld, yes, like Homeworld. It's always going to be like everything was always Homeworld. Yeah. Which we can probably do a little bit of finagling with. Broke trader influence. But yeah, this is kind of the idea. We're not going to, mind you, we are not going to see Void Hunters for a while. Sanguine Knights might take quite a bit. Soul Survivor is going to take quite a bit. And Void Hunters is going to be less. Like, this is going to be a little bit, mind you. This is going to be a lot of bit. But that does give me some ideas to work with, though. I'm going to do some more research and see if I can't find some more stuff on Sanguine Knights. The right brain controlling a ship, left brain chilling out, and his body boring it up with the other players. a little bit. Again, I'm trying to keep it in the kind of the very hard sci-fi, but it's kind of like one of the ideas. What I want players to feel like is, even if you lose your ship, even if you lose a character, you aren't really out of the game. Like if a ship explodes, you fuck up. Ship explodes, people are dead. Jesus Christ. You still have characters to go to. It's not like, well, my ship is gone, I'm useless now. Second. It's more along the lines of, I don't have my ship now, but I need to find my ship. Which the idea is like, you can only ever have like a character aboard everybody else's ship. However, that's kind of the idea of being like, the more ships you add to your fleet, the more characters you can obviously work with, but it's kind of like that command structure gets a little bit more wonky. Okay. Notepad presents The Garden of Kadesh. Are you really making a Yik game? Everyone's a big Star Sector. Star Sector would play a bit in that, yeah. Star Sector, luckily, is just because you're a single person doing things, you have your own advantages. But yes, in case you're wondering, Ironside, I am making a Yik RPG. It's right here. All the information is here. It's going to be a weird game, but yes, Yik is going to be here. And most likely what'll happen is when I finish Sanguine Nights and Terrible Curses, there will probably be a day where I say fuck it and I will stream as much as I physically can of Yik. Just sit down one night, open it up on stream, and you will just have to listen to me playing it. Spaceships are cheap and insurance fraud is omnipresent. Yeah, there's a few ideas of how I want to kind of handle the idea of like how you choose to handle it as a void haunter. It's like, yeah, you are in the middle of fucking nowhere. I want to play up that aspect a little bit more, being like, you are a space-bound people. Being like, it's for those who don't know The Expanse at all, which I enjoy The Expanse. Watched the first season. There's the term for people called belters. And one interesting aspect about belters is that they've been pretty much raised in space. So their bones are very weak and their bodies are very weak by themselves. You can kind of see everything through it. Yeah, I should actually look at the Expanse tabletop game and see what I can find. And all of them are very wonky and feel very weird and very alien in their own right. Very long. Very deformed in their own way. I wonder if I can find any strict artwork for it. Yeah, so it would be kind of like, this is the best way I can kind of do it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, see, I'll need to consult the Expanse RPG, actually. That's what I'll need to do. Play Martian Commandos and fuck everybody else up. Yeah, Children of Microgravity. That's kind of the basic idea, being like, you don't really have... Yeah, the idea being that you do not have home, really. You're haunting the void. You are these weird people where normal job is not really possible. So when this Expanse had a false flag terrorist attacks with a hero used to push pro-government propaganda, it stopped being sci-fi. The Expanse is just real life with a skin. Yep. Oof. Yeah, when I remember telling my friend was the one who really wanted me to watch it, and he's been bugging me for it fucking forever. I remember I told him, being like, man, I was expecting the Canterbury to like last a little bit longer. That's why actually the name of this one was called the Cant of the Canterbury. Was a direct reference to the Expanse. I was like, because they set it up in a way, being like, oh, the Canterbury is going to be like this constant, like, here's this really kind of dull ship in this very interesting situation. Like, oh no, this is really bad. Oh no. It's like, oh, wait a second. Just nuclear explosion. Everybody dies. You're like, okay, we're dealing with this kind of show. Poggerinos. All right. Okay. Wow. Wasn't expecting this. Oh, no. Oh no. But yeah, these are the kind of this is kind of the preliminary notes of how I want things to kind of play out a little bit more. Out of all of these, all of them are weird in their own ways. Some more weird than others, simply because of what we're going to be working with here. But Void Hunters, big thing is like Void Hunters is going to lead into other games potentially. If things work out correctly with it, it's going to lead into different games that work differently. Songwood Knights is leading directly into the DNTM. You could say the DNTM world of me just being able to make, hey, you want to play a werewolf game? Cool, here's a werewolf. You want to play a game about Ghost? Cool, we're playing my Orpheus game now, fuck you. Soul Survivor is the weird one out of these ones, which is going to be me having to sit down and just make it. Probably going to be just going with the flow half the time on this one. And going with the flow is what I do best. So you kind of see all here. So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident. Generally speaking, the ideas list, I don't really know what's going to be on next. I have a few ideas. At this point, I might have to do a magical girl game because there just isn't a fucking magical girl game. Because I actually was looking around. Yes, we're on TG now. Fuck you. Also, Ramadan. Ramagoku. Muslim Goku truly is the most powerful. Where are you? There we go. Hello, merchant. Someone compiled a list of magical girl games. These are the magical girl games which has been said, which is a World of Darkness, anime game, anime generic system. This is just Big Eye Small Mouth, by the way. That's a here, super system, generic system. GURPS should never be recommended. That's not a recommendation. Battle Century G. Yeah, Battle Century G got fucking recommended. This is a mecha game. And then ignore anything about Yuri and PBTA systems. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you are understanding the depth of how little there is, roughly speaking, from magical girl game Maho Shoujo. Oh, yeah. Oh, didn't mean to click you. You're memeing. No place to call home, no life to go back to, can't keep a steady job, only communities other Void Hunters. No, Pat, I think you just made a Space Hobo RPG. Honestly, calling it the Pirate Space Hobo RPG is a completely valid answer, and I am done with it. I am okay with it. Will we have a straight morbing RPG? I'm good. Give me one second. I'm morbing. It's morbing time. Generally speaking, how I want to handle the Songwood Knights is kind of. Am I saying will I attempt to work in a morbing joke in there? Yes, I will try my best. What about Glitter Hearts? Glitter Hearts is not. Glitter Hearts is PBTA, if I'm thinking of that one. Unless you're thinking my game, but that's a fucking skirmish RPG. No, that's not even an RPG, it's a fucking skirmish game. GURPS is a generic universal role-playing system. Which is a generic universal role-playing system by Steve Jackson. But yeah, like... So this one might actually get put on the list regardless next time, simply because... I need it. It needs to. Generally speaking, I have a couple other them. 100 Lotus Blades may also get added next time. I have a few ideas. It kind of depends. Generally speaking, though, how things are going, my estimation is these two might take me the entirety of July. That's going to be my rough estimation that these two are going to be the majority of July. And moving into August is going to be Void Hunters. Yeah, I suspect these two are going to be a little bit longer than I would have. Than I'm going to think. I'm thinking about seven episodes probably for both of these. simply because of the scale of both of them are a little bit weird. Yeah, it's the Raiden Senator Armstrong, me and Steve Jackson. That's all it's going to be. Suggesting GURPS is like... Yeah, GURPS... I understand when people say GURPS is a suggestion. I understand it because GURPS does do everything. It is a toolbox. It is a toolbox handed to you. And if we want to be really specific, you should never mention BES. You should never mention Big Eye Small Mouth, OVA. You shouldn't really mention generic systems like that when you're looking for, recommendations, because technically any of those games can kind of do whatever you want them to do. If people are like, what's a good magical girl game? Being like, it's easy to do it in things like OVA, Big Eye Small Mouth, because a lot of the tools are already there for you. But at the end of the day. Also, never mentioned for very different reasons. Big Eye Small Mouth has a plethora of issues. You want to play World War II in GURPS? Download the basic set, high-tech GURPS. Yeah, you need a book list. A lot of people, like GURPS fans, do enjoy just giving you just GURPS because everybody wants something different from GURPS. Rice's RPG is kind of in the same book. In the system suggestion thread that pops up, and Slug and then didn't post it. Though I think Sluganon fucked off because people are dumbasses. You poor bastard. But usually, anytime, that's what I would recommend Rice's for. Like half the games people suggest, people are like, "Oh, how do I do cool new cartoon? How do I do the Owl House? Owl House was big. Everybody wanted Owl House games. How do I do an Owl House game? How do I do an Amphibia game? How do I do some like obscure fucking Netflix cartoon?" I was like, use Rice's because it's super simple. It takes 5 seconds to hack. It's great. 2 year, the same Big Eye Small Mouth game. Yeah, that's a pain moment, my friend. That is a pain, agony even. Let's see. Do I have anything over here? No. But yeah, I'll take a look here. I'll see what I can do for all of these. I have a few ideas. This one is going to be my priority though, and what we're going to go over a little bit deeper on Wednesday. And as we really kind of put the pedal to the metal, you could say. But yeah. Though I should actually say here, because I can talk about this. This is Metal Saviors. Metal Savior. Last time I streamed Metal Saviors, it wasn't done yet. Metal Saviors is pretty much done at this point. It is 101 fucking pages long of me just going over a bunch of things for it. Everything is here, and it's kind of front mission, kind of not. All the various different cav units, they all work beautifully. They work exactly the way I want to. Though I need to throw some lancers in there, just because these guys are very fragile but very fast. But yeah, I'm going to call it there for today. Thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad Anon. We have a wonderful rest of your day. 2 years, same setting. I had to start making rules to handle high stat. Yeah, BSM does not go too high in that regard. Let's see. Let's give a Netflix card with bump fag, and that was just to keep the system recommendation thread alive. Yeah, I didn't believe in bump fag. I want you to remember, I did not believe in bump fag, but those threads did prove to me that there is someone or a group of people who act suspiciously similar to him. I don't know why. I don't know your end goal, bump fag, but I know for certain, whatever you are, you truly are a bump fag. You're a real human being. So, alright, Godspeed, good luck. Catch y'all on the flip side. If you need me, you know where to find me.